Okay, November the 9th, 1 p.m. 2016. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Today, what we're doing is going to be the stick control book. Page is 10 and 12. But before I do that, I need to loosen up somewhat. So I'm just going to do some eighth note vamps at 160 perhaps for 2 or 3 minutes. Here we go. Eighth note vamps, 4 with the right, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, right in, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, nice and relaxed, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, open up the wrist, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, left hand, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Four, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. Three, 2, 3, 4, 5, make it 8, 6, 2, 3, 7, 8, left hand, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, right hand, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Okay. Alright, enough of loosening up. Like I was saying before anybody was here, what I'm going to do today is actually stage number 1. We're in the stick control book. We're on page 10 and we're going to go to page 12. And I'm going to show you how to relate it. It's actually stage 1, so we're going to be doing things in full strokes, like so. When I'm doing these exercises, the object here is to do it slowly, okay? And when I hit my right and I hit my left, both sides should sound equal. That's the objective. Now this is called short roll combinations. Call it whatever you will, that's what he called it. To me, it's a measure with eighth notes and 16th notes. So it's obvious, if you're familiar with the page, you need to do page 5, page 6, and page 7 to get the benefit out of this. And it's just expanding on that. So now, I'm going to do the first line without a metronome, and I have a combination of eighth notes and 16th notes. When I'm counting, which I always do, when I'm exercising, not when I'm playing, my count system here is 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and now if you're not familiar with the exercise itself or the combination or mixture of 8th notes and 16th notes, what you need to do is count a straight line of 16th notes and play wherever they fall on the drum. Example, I'm going to count instead of 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and I'm going to count 1 E and 2E and 3E and 4E and now that's slow. The objective there, remember, is to make the right and the left sound the same. So full strokes, 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we understand that, gentlemen? A little slower. Excuse me. That happens, especially when you're looking at two screens and thinking of what you're going to teach and how you're going to approach it. So we have 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and full strokes, 3E and equal sound and 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and boom. Now I'm doing them slow. Who's this? Scott. How are you, Scott? We have a question, I see. Okay, for those who are watching the video when it's posted, oh, sorry to hear that, Scott. Get better soon. I mean, we all have issues and hope that everything becomes better for you. But do the best you can. I mean, it's here. Come when you can. Okay, so now what we're doing, we're throwing a stick down. That's a free stroke. Free stroke. The position is the full stroke position. I execute, it becomes a free stroke. Alright, so now that's line 1. And I'm doing them high because this is stage 1. You want to do them high and slow. But notice before I make any stroke, my sticks are back in attack position. I go to the second line. The second line, instead of attacking with the right side lead, you're attacking with the left side lead. So that's strengthening your lead. So you have 1 and 2 and 3E and 4E and 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 So now we established the right hand lead and the left hand lead slow without a metronome, all full strokes. Okay? Now, what we're doing now, and if you notice that the 8th note pattern on this one, line 1, and the 8th note pattern on line 2, if you go to page 5, it's the same. Now we're going to go to line 3, and that's what it works. It works its way all the way through. It changes a little bit when you get to line 5, and I'll explain that. So we did line 1, and we did line 2, the right hand lead, and we're doing it full strokes. Put them on a metronome. Let's go to 50 maybe. Maybe that's a little too slow. But actually, the slower you do this, the better off you are. The slower, when you're doing it slowly, you need to zone in. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 E and the 4 E and the line 1, 2. And I'll do that for 3, 4, 5 minutes. I'll go to the next line with the metronome. Now, you can go from line to line at that tempo without disrupting it. If you go a little bit faster, which we will do in a little bit, I use a turnaround. I use a paradiddle to make the turnaround. So, right now we're going to go to line 3, and that's the doubles, right, right, left, left, without the metronome first. Because if this is new for you, you need to say hello mentally first, understand what's going on, then challenge it inside of a tempo, and then from when you have that rock solid, continue to increase the tempo. Now, the more you increase the tempo, it's a workout. If you're going to keep your hands all the way up in the air like that, you want to actually lower the sticks. And we'll address that in a second. Line number 3, without the metronome. 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a right, right, left, left. Still, my hands are up in the air like that, and they're coming right back before I make the next stroke or attack. They're up in the air. Line 4. Okay. Line 4, we have the reversal, which is left, left, right, right. Again, without the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now, I really like to hang out with line 5 a lot because what it's doing, it's distributing the attack from the right side and the left side equally. Okay, so if I did the first measure of line 5, I'd have 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1. I start that with the left. So it keeps the right hand lead and the left hand lead balanced, and you're spending it equal amount of time. Now, I'm going to do 1 through 5 twice. I'll do the line twice, each line twice. Okay, so here we go. At that tempo, all high strokes, free strokes. 1, 2, 3, here we go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Next line. 1. I use a turnaround there. 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turnaround. 1. Now let me explain what a turnaround is. I get so involved with this, I forget that I'm not just practicing, I'm demonstrating. I have a whole exercise on this particular guy. I do a right hand lead, 16th notes. 3 E and a 4 E and a. So if you notice that when I'm playing that 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, starting with the right hand, if I want to make a change to the second measure, left hand lead, well, when I get to 4 E and the, I'm using a paradiddle sticking, so that allows me to be in position to attack on the left hand side with no disruption whatsoever. 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, paradiddle, right hand lead, 2 E and a on and so forth. It's hot in here, gentlemen. Okay, does everybody follow me so far? I'm doing line 1 through line 5, and when I do make the change, I'm using a turnaround. Whoever's watching now, if you understand what the turnaround is, or would you like me to re-explain that? I need some feedback here, gentlemen. If not, this is, like I said, stage 1. That's high strokes, it's the free stroke or full stroke position, like so. Now, if I increase the tempo, I don't mean like, be a maniac here, but let's go to 120. And if I did line 1 now at 120, I still can play them here. As you're starting to really work out. So it's more comfortable and more relaxed if I'm closer to the drum. So from the full stroke position, I'm going to go to the half stroke position. Here we go. That's here. You got 1, 2, watch now. 1, 2. And go higher. That's working out. The object, you can do that. I'm just showing you the steps. That's step 1, step 2, and that's at 120. I could up the tempo somewhat. Say 160 maybe. And I would do, once I loosen up, I would do line 1. Set the timer for 3, 4, 5 minutes and do it here. But notice my hands. My hands are not coming up. Alright, I'll get to you in a second. Let me just finish this. I'll show you a turnaround. I'm going to take this down. Now, notice when I make the strokes, at least the eighth notes, 1, 2. See, my hands are equalized and they come back to the same position. When I do this, they are coming back to the same position, but because the tempo's up a little bit, there's an illusion that occurs. That illusion is like a seesaw method, and that don't exist there. It's all this with both hands, but in different places. Now I'm going to do line 1. 1, 2. Look at the hands, equal sound. I'll do the whole page like that, at least the left-hand side of the page. I just had a question about the turnarounds. Now, this old fart put his glasses on. Yes, I did a turnaround with a double. I don't look at it as a double. I look at the whole thing, the grouping of 4, as a paradiddle. I'm going to explain this real slow so you can see it, because that'll make you be able to do line 1, at least the left-hand side of the page, without stopping if you utilize the turnaround. And the turnaround is to make a switch from a right-hand lead to a left-hand lead with a minimal amount of disruption or no disruption whatsoever. Example, if I'm doing 16th notes, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and that was the right hand lead. So we have the 16th right hand lead. Then if you want to do from that point one measure of 16th notes right hand lead to 16th notes left hand lead, well, something has to occur without disrupting the flow. So if I get to 1 E and 2 E and E and then watch 4 E and it's a double, but it's also the paradiddle sticking. That allows me now, without any discomfort or disrupting the pattern, to be able to attack with the left side. 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that help you somewhat there, Kim? Is that okay? It is a double, technically, but I refer to it as a paradiddle because I have a whole series of exercises and they're written out from stick control. And I refer to them as the turnarounds. And it's what it is. You're turning from the right hand lead to the left hand lead and you use it a diddle or the double, so to speak, a duple. Does that help you? Okay, good. So what I like to do, if you're not familiar with that pattern, I like to do one measure right hand, one measure left hand, making the change. Let me just slow it. Let me go to a slower tempo. Let's go to 120. Maybe it's a little too fast for you. Probably not, but I just want to demonstrate it so whoever else is watching. Yeah, it's 680. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Left, left, right, 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 left, 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 left. Now what you're going to have happen when you do that, there's a tendency when you come back to the opposite side, an accent. That's what you need to adjust. A lot of guys will go like this: 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So they made the change, they announced it. The object is to make the change without announcing it and make it smooth, make that transition smooth and clean. Okay, so that takes care of page 10. And like I said, I don't have too much time today. I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to do page 10, the left-hand side. Is there any line in particular you would like me to demonstrate on that left-hand side of page 10? Yes? No. Put a Y near for yes and N for no. Bop, 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 boom. No response. Okay. No problem. All right, let's hang out. Page 13. Now, what I like to do with page 13... Okay, very good there, Kim. What I like to do with page 13 is this. I play it as written. Then I'll tag eventually I'll tag a vamp on it. And after I tag a vamp on it, I'll extend the single stroke roll for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, depending on how I feel. So where's my glasses? Okay, yeah, the chat is slow. There's like a 5-second lag on this, and that happens with any stream that you do on the internet. I guess they're going to be working on that soon to make that a little bit better. So now, we are on page 13. You look at page 13, and we're on line 1, and it's a 4-measure increment. Now, before I go any further, I'm doing this in 4 as opposed to 2-2 cut time. So we're staying in 4 for today. Okay, so we're going to do line 1 here, page 13. 4-measure increment. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, repeat. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Now I'll do that with the metronome, whatever tempo I feel good with. Not too fast. Slow. Slow. You're giving yourself an opportunity to really listen to what you're producing stroke-wise. Maybe one's just a little heavier than the other, but when you do it slow, you have that time to make the adjustment to equalize either the right or the left. Now, like I said, I'll do that for, who knows, whatever I feel like doing, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Now, what I do next is put a tag. I tag a vamp on the end of the 4-measure increment. Now, what the vamp being, instead of eighth note vamp like we've been working with, 1, 2, 3, 4 measures, I'm using what I'm playing at the last measure. I use a 16th note single stroke vamp. So if I did the line 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, vamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, back we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I feel good with that. I'll put it up on the metronome. Let's hit 160 maybe. There's my chord. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3. With the vamp. 1, 2. Vamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. Vamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So on and so forth. Now I'll do that with line 1 and I'll do that with line 2. That is the vamp. The next step, first you do it as written. That's the first step. The second step, you're putting the vamp on it. The third step, when you're putting the vamp on that, you're going to extend the vamp. You're just going to play the vamp for maybe 2 or 3 measures. So you're going to develop some endurance. What I'll do is I'm gonna actually, when I get to the end, I'm gonna put an action so you know where I'm at. Okay, so I'm gonna play the line 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, vamp, 1, 2. Now I'm just gonna play this 4 for 3 minutes. Play 3 minutes, I'm getting tired, I'll go back to the beginning. So on and so forth. Did you understand that? Mr. Kim? Have you been coming to the live lessons at night on the drum set application? Tonight we're going to be working with a few different linear concepts from the Jerry Shafee book. Can you hear me? That helps you. You understand that? Okay. You've been coming to the live lessons? Well, no, I don't think you have. Do you have the address for that? Okay. All right. A couple days next week, or maybe one day next week or the week after, instead of me doing my 1 o'clock on YouTube, I'll do my 1 o'clock on my site. It's still open. Okay? You have the address. All right. It's too late in Europe. Okay. Well, anyway, is there any questions relating to this today? Because I'll give you an exercise in addition to this, the turnarounds. I have the sheet written out someplace in my files. I need to find it. Email me and I'll send you the sheet, okay? On turnarounds, referencing from the stick control book. Now, what it is, you already know what that is. I'm starting with my right, and I want to make the transition to the left-hand lead. And I want to make it smooth. So I come up with a formula. from stick control book. I look at a right, I make it 4/16. I make right hand lead. I look at the left, I make that 4/16 starting with the left. This really takes effect on starting with line 3. You have 2 rights and 2 lefts. So I'm playing 1 E and a, 2 E and a. And I want to get to 3, I got to start with the left hand lead. So if I have right, right, which is 1, left, left. I'll pronounce the sticky like 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3, 4, right, right, left, left. You could put an accent on it as well. So I'm going right, 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 left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, bop. If I did the paradiddle, sticking, it'd be right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. It'd be right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And I have that all written out in the formula. So email me, and I'll send it to you, okay? Now it's time for me to say I have to go teach one-on-one in the studio here and prepare myself for the lesson tonight for a while. And like I said, next week, one day, instead of doing the lesson here, I'll do the lesson online on my site. Okay? Okay, good. No questions? You understand everything? I hope you had fun. We had fun. And I've maybe opened up a few more doors for you, perhaps. Okay, with that all being said, time for me to go. Gentlemen, or whoever, have a good Hey, where is that? There you go. Have a good night.